Black Hills Information Security, the leaders in penetration testing and active defense. Email consulting@blackhillsinfosec.com to request a quote today. Threat Connect is the industry's most widely adopted threat intelligence platform, built to unite the people, processes, and technologies across your security team, your organization, and your entire ecosystem of partners. Threat Connect's threat intelligence platform enables your team to collaborate, analyze, and make sense of threat data all in one place. Empower your team towards fast and efficient analysis that leads to decisive action. Transform your entire threat detection and response program today. Claim your free account at threatconnect.com/Security Weekly. Faraday is an open source collaborative pen test and vulnerability management platform. With real-time dashboards and more than 50 tools, Faraday allows seamless integration with your security workflow, allowing CISOs and pen testers to see in real time the impact and risks uncovered from assessments. Scan your network every day using different tools and get one-click reports, creating a collaborative experience, sharing knowledge, and making pen testing fun again. This is Faraday. Visit FaradaySec.com for more information. Welcome back, everyone, to Security Weekly. This is a very special technical segment we have that I put together at the last minute because I bought a new. Do we have the other? Yeah, we got the other camera. I bought a new Segway because I'm a nerd, and apparently it's something you'd have to own if you're a nerd, or maybe not. Maybe it's just me. I'm just a big nerd who has a Segway now. They were on sale, so I bought one. And one of the reasons that interests me is because it's got Bluetooth, and you can like control it with an app. So, I thought it was interesting with the Bluetooth, but you can actually like drive it with the app. It doesn't go very fast. It's kind of stuck on the carpet. But yeah, you can smash it into a light too. That works too. Yeah, so you can drive it with into the walls and stuff. It's kind of hard to control. In any case, I thought, why not?
Kind of begs the question, man. Do they have like couples Segway meetups where everybody sits there with that Bluetooth app and they make their Segways dance?
Yeah,
with each
well,
other?
because it can detect other Segway riders as one of the other features on it as well, and you can lock it with your. It's like moving on its own. You can lock it with your phone. So if I lock it with my phone, theoretically no one else can get on it unless they have this. So I said this is a perfect thing to research the security of it. And I said, what better tool than Rick Farina? I mean, the PwnPad 4 and the new Bluetooth adapter that it comes with, which also does Bluetooth low energy, because as I discovered, it's actually a Bluetooth low energy connection between my phone and the new Segway Mini Pro is the one that I bought, along with a lot of other people on Amazon Prime Day when they were on sale for 50% off. So I started analyzing the security. I started playing with this new tool called Hydra, and there wasn't a lot of documentation, so I picked up the phone and I called Rick, and Rick's like, yeah, dude, I wrote it. I'm like, can you come on the show and talk about it? Because that would be awesome. And it actually, it works really well. And I think that while many are focused on securing the network, it could be devices within your location, like a Segway or a TV or whatever, that cause security issues. So this is going to be an open source tool. It has a unique capability to scan for Bluetooth or low energy. And it also supports an Ubertooth 1. Is that right, Rick?
That's correct. Yeah, optionally.
So I started analyzing the Bluetooth. I'm happy with the results so far. Really, no, is this just a scanner, Rick?
So it's discovery tool is really what it's meant for. It's meant to show you what's in the airspace and give you as best an analysis of it as possible without really getting too invasive.
So now it supports it gives me a list of protocols that it supports. What are the protocols that Hydra supports from a discovery standpoint?
Right. So it can find devices that are classic and in discoverable mode. With the Ubertooth, it can find classic devices that are not in discoverable mode but are talking. And then anything that sends out a low energy advertisement gets picked up as well. And we're working on finding things that don't advertise but are also low energy as one of the next steps. So pretty much everything.
Well, Rick, it's wonderful to have you on the show. Rick's, of course, the Director of Research and Development for Pwnie Express. I'm super excited about this tool. Now, tell me, we talked about the dongle, the new version of this dongle. What is it specifically called, Rick? I'll defer to your expertise on that.
Right. So these are the dongles that Pwnie Express has been selling for a long time. They're super convenient. They're really great. The older ones were actually Bluetooth 2. And a lot of the sites actually still say that they're Bluetooth 2, but the newer ones are all Bluetooth 4. This is the Sena UD100, and the newer 4.0 ones are UD100A, but they often don't actually show that on the website. But they're Bluetooth 4, low energy, high power. They've got this sweet little antenna on them. You can connect it regular RPSMA style, and so you can put whatever you want on there if you need a giant antenna or just a big antenna, or whatever makes you feel better about yourself.
And so with Blue Hydra, I mean, I love my PwnPad. You should definitely go buy one. Pwnie Express is a sponsor, all that fun stuff. But with your open source software, anyone's going to be able to get Blue Hydra, one of these dongles, and essentially do exactly what we're going to talk about today.
Right, exactly. And the best part of it is on the PwnPad or off the PwnPad, when you pair the Bluetooth dongle with the Ubertooth, you really see just a shocking amount of stuff out there. It's really terrifying. I've got an alert for every time my mother-in-law gets here.
Yeah.
She's wearing a Fitbit, and it alerts me as she pulls into the driveway. I know when my wife turns the television on and off because there's Bluetooth on the television. It's terrifying, honestly.
Yeah.
Can I ask a really geeky, nerdy question? Because it vexed me in the past, and I think I solved it. So here we go. Buckle in. And probably only Rick's going to know the answer to this. Bluetooth Classic, upper address portion, when the devices within their PicoNets are not in discoverable mode, are you brute forcing, or how are you doing the discovery?
Right. So there's a couple of things that were found out by the Ubertooth team, specifically Mike Osman and Dominic Spill back in the day, honestly, before there was even an Ubertooth. They figured out how to take the packets and then go in reverse checking the header values. And they were able to figure out, okay, if the header was this, then it would have been whitened to this, and then it would have changed to this. And they basically run the whole thing in reverse, and then they check to see if they're right.
So you're not trying to brute. So you're not trying to brute force the upper address octet. You're just relying on Osman's stuff. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I've got an algorithm I worked on a long time ago that did a brute forced approach with like 16 or multiple adapters because it's a non-trivial problem. But okay, cool. I'll let it. That's my geek question for the night.
One of my favorites along those lines was back when Red Fang and those kinds of Bluetooth brute force discoveries were really a thing. I was at a convention and somebody had a pair of Blues jeans where they just had like 16 or some odd adapters sewn into their pants that were brute forcing the whole Bluetooth address space looking for devices, and it's like that is one way to not have to worry about a certain personal problem, but not my personal choice. But
yeah, you're sending a lot of stuff out when you do that, and the way I was doing name queries when I was doing it, but you've still got 255 possibilities, and then you've got a delay in the packet transmission, and so you've got to parallelize that, and it's really a bit of a painful problem. But I haven't kept up with the later stuff that Osman did with Bluetooth and Ubertooth 1, but apparently it's up to me to go look it up. So that's really cool.
So, Rick, the discovery is really awesome. For example, when it discovered a Samsung TV, it said that it had a microphone on it. Is that really true?
So we're going with whatever the device says. So if it says that it has a microphone on it, we tell you it told us that it had a microphone on it. We don't really explore that at the moment. Like I said, we're giving you what we can without being invasive. But if it tells you it's got a microphone on it, odds are pretty strong it does. And I know a lot of Samsung smart TVs do.
So that is like service discovery protocol, straight up SDP.
Yeah.
Query.
Yeah, it's straight service discovery. It's an info scan from Blues basically, along with a name request. Your basic info gathering, nothing too deep right now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
sorry for geeking out, Paul.
Well, that's okay. No, that's great. I think conceivably the risk for me is many organizations have these devices, they don't know it, And not only that, they don't know the device even exists. They don't know that it's running these protocols, but they don't understand the potential. Like, if it has a microphone, could it be used for a listening device was my first thought.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that, I mean, that was maybe a year ago where Samsung came out with a new terms of service that included things like, we suggest you don't speak about private things in front of your television because we're recording everything you say and sending it up to our servers for analysis. And that's special. We'll go with special.
It is special. That's interesting. So this is a great way for organizations to understand the risk of all these devices inside their network. I found the TV, a Roku player that I have here in the studio. It's interesting on the Segway. I discovered it was Bluetooth low energy. It identified it as a Sony Ericsson mobile phone, which was weird. And I'm assuming that's coming.
That's very weird.
That's coming from the device. You're not making that up, right?
Right. No, basically, nothing is inferred in the Blue Hydra output. It's all gathered from what we see. So it's also possible that it's got some kind of a weird bug. I've actually seen some devices that have issues where they'll basically respond with whatever last talked to them. So there could have been like a Sony Ericsson programmer talking to it, and now it's just parroting out information and it's just initialized improperly or something silly like that. But we're using real values that the devices send back, not inferred.
Gotcha.
You know, that's an interesting point. I've seen in some of my research the same problem where adapters would pick up what was in the airspace and advertise out like just false information. There's really, really weird, buggy software in the Bluetooth world.
Yeah, and you know, for the Segway, it's kind of interesting security implications, as someone could potentially. Now, I don't pretend to understand all of the ways in which you fuzz and inject traffic into Bluetooth low energy. Maybe Rick can help us out with that. I defer to Larry also on that, as well as not here this week. But that's used to lock the device, and I'm not quite sure exactly how that works, what the key values are that let me lock and unlock the device. But it seems to be an emerging trend that low energy is used for some kind of security purpose for these devices.
Right. A lot of them are really terrible. Older versions of Android especially were basically MAC address and that was it.
Yep.
And they would lock and unlock and do things like that. Newer things, especially the low energy stuff, typically has some kind of an identified service, a UUID that it spits out, and then you pull that UUID and it gives you back some special magic number, and it uses those kinds of things to talk. And some of them are actually pretty secure, and a lot of them are absolutely not secure. There's some really great Bluetooth man-in-the-middle proxy tools and things like that to monkey around with that. This is just to show you that there's a problem in your airspace, tell you who's involved, and then you take out the other fun tools.
I gotcha. So now you said you were getting ready to release a new version of this?
Yeah, I'm actually super excited about that. We spent a long time developing this tool, and after we spent a bunch of time developing it, we turned around to the...
Oh, we lost you there for a second, Rick. Sorry.
Oh, he's having a Bluetooth headset problem.
Sorry. You got me now?
Yeah, I got you now.
All right, cool. Yeah, Granulox and I, who developed it, spent maybe 6-8 months working on this, and then we turned around to our boss and said, you know, it would be really cool if we could open source it. And he's like, sure, try to make it suck less, and then you're allowed to open source it. So we spent a couple of weeks working on that, putting some stuff together to make it work outside of our sensor environment, outside of, the hardware we control, write up readmes, document the code, little things like that. And we're actually open sourcing it. Was going to say Wednesday next week, but, I'll just go ahead and hit the button while I'm on the show so that your folks can have it.
Yeah. And where can they find the open source version of this, Rick?
In about 10 seconds, you can find it on GitHub under Pwnie Express for Blue Hydra.
Nice. That's awesome. Rick's going to click the buttons, make it fully open source. Now, you said there was a newer version. I did not get a chance to update. But are there some improvements from the version that I was playing around with this week?
Yeah, I'm not sure how well screen sharing with Skype is, but if you want to give it a quick shot, I can...
Let's try. I have also a follow-on question to add to that, and that is, if you're using Ubuntu 1, is there a required firmware update that you have to apply to Ubertooth?
You need to use the latest firmware. It's definitely a very big difference in support if you don't have the latest firmware. It's all in all, it's got a lot of bugs in the older versions that are gone in the new versions. So I warmly recommend actually updating.
Yeah, but it's time that I did it then.
Excellent. Yeah, so Rick, you're going to share your screen.
I'm trying to, but it's
not letting you.
It's got a tiny little window trying to let me share. Let me.
This is one of those moments where we go, how does this technology thing work?
Yeah, seriously. I didn't even know Skype was a technology until I had to be on this show.
Well, and in Rick's defense, I called Rick like a few hours ago, and I was like, hey, can you come on the show and talk about this?
Does that work at all?
Yeah, just make it bigger.
Oh, there you go. Make it big. Make it big.
Make it bigger.
That's what she said a lot.
Make it bigger.
Click Expando Fonto.
Can't get too huge. Won't be able to see anything, but that should be a little better.
And that's also what she said.
All right, cool. So we've added in a couple of features that you can see here for sorting and changing column sets and things like that.
Nice.
So this latest version actually includes cool things like demo mode, where it blanks out part of the MAC address.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got a range column, which can be sorted on just by changing the sort value. And we can sort by how far away a specific device is from us if it's conforming to the iBeacon standard. So after we started, fingerprinting everything in the airspace, we started looking at what was really common and adding in custom feature sets for it. So iBeacon actually gives you a calibrated TX power, which is, this is the signal strength I expect you to see if you're 1 meter away from me. And then you can use that to turn around and extrapolate just how far away from that device you are. So you can see that most of this stuff is actually sitting on a shelf behind me, just about 4 feet away, which is pretty neat.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of work to this, trying to make it just more usable, friendly, quick, and it's definitely a passion and a labor of love, but it's been pretty awesome.
Rick, what's the most interesting device that you've discovered? I'm assuming, knowing you, Rick, that you've taken this and walked around town into different locations.
Hey, Paul, before he answers that, Bluetooth is in the bedroom.
That's right. It is.
No, you are correct. We actually have challenges around devices like that almost every year at the Wireless Village. I won't go into too much detail, but if you've ever seen a talk from RenderMan, he normally drops by with a couple of his pieces of test equipment, and we hack them in the Wireless Village at DEF CON, which is a lot of fun. The most interesting device I've seen actually came out of a customer encounter. They were getting thousands and thousands and thousands of unique MAC addresses, and I had never seen anything like that before. It was really weird. It was about 1 new MAC address every second forever. And it was originally really badly messing up the sniffer, so we bought a couple of the devices and had a lot of fun. This is actually a gimbal iBeacon. It's a proprietary sort of semi-iBeacon, semi-not iBeacon device from what used to be Atheros Research Labs and is now called Gimbal. And they randomized the MAC address on this thing so viciously that I'm actually using it for one of the challenges at the Wireless Village.
Wow. And so what's the original purpose of the device?
The original purpose is iBeacon is a protocol.
Oh, you cut out again.
Advertisement broadcast. And so you set up an app, a loyalty app or something like that, and it sets up a listener on your phone, whether it's an Android or an iPhone. They all support it these days. It was originally an Apple idea, but they all support it now. So you set up a listener and you say, I'm looking for this proximity UUID, which is the unique identifier for an iBeacon class. And then when it detects that on the Bluetooth stack, it passes it to the app along with the major and the minor, which are the region and the specific beacon that you're seeing. And then it sends that up to some server or some lookup table and says, oh, that means you get 50 cents off on a fry order or whatever it is.
I see.
So they're made for advertising and loyalty programs and things like that. And I've actually seen them used in some pretty sneaky ways that I'm not really able to talk about. But sneaky. Imagine if you were to have an app on people's phones and then you started hiding these all over town so you could track your customers because that's what their apps do.
Right.
Yeah, I love apps.
Interesting. Well, Rick, thank you very much for coming on the show. I'm super excited about this tool. I really, really like the way it's able to scan all the different Bluetooth spectrums, including low energy, and support multiple devices. I think it's a very useful tool for us pen testers, and my segue just fell over, and for enterprises as well. So, Rick, thank you very much. You can find the code on Pwnie Express's GitHub website, Blue Hydra. Go check it out.
Oh, and also extra thank you from me too, Rick. I love people doing work in the Bluetooth space, and it's great. Really great to see that open source. So thanks.
My pleasure.
My